The story The Termite testifies. Once upon a time, there was a couple from a poor family who had a child, about 11 or 12 years old, but he was smarter than most people. Lacking food, that family often had to go into debt. One year, the weather caused famine, and the couple had to borrow 30 francs from Ba's family, both capital and interest. Even though the loan term has expired, they still cannot contribute enough money to pay. The creditor sent someone to collect several times, and the couple begged for alms. One day, Mr. Ba himself came to the house to collect the debt. When he arrived at the house and saw the child playing alone in the yard, he immediately asked, "Where are your parents?" Seeing that the baby was silent, he asked again, "Are your parents running away from debt, or are you telling the truth about where they are going?" Then the baby spoke up, "My father went to cut down living trees and plant dead ones. My mother went to sell wind to buy sticks." Hearing that, Mr. Ba stood dumbfounded, not understanding anything, so he asked all the questions. The baby smiled, "Just guess, it's easy." Seeing the old man ask again, the child said, "If you can't guess what to give me, I'll explain it to you. You keep preaching, if it's true, I'll forgive you all the money you owe your family." "Really? You're not talking about taking buffaloes across by boat, are you?" Uncle Ba said loudly, "My words are golden words. Do you despise me? If that's the case, I'll have to go invite a witness." The old creditor thought to himself, "This guy is very nice, but I have to find a way to get rid of him. I can't just talk about it and then stop." As soon as he saw a termite crawling out to take the bait, he said, "That termite can also testify, just preach. If it's true, I promise to clear your family's debt." Now the baby leisurely said, "My father goes to transplant. You don't have to cut down living trees. What's the point of planting dead trees? As for my mother, she sells fans to buy bamboo. Selling fans to buy bamboo is not selling wind to buy sticks." Seeing that the child answered correctly, Mr. Ba praised him and then left. A few days later, Mr. Ba sent someone to collect the debt again. Right now the baby's father is at home. Seeing that his father had to beg for alms, the baby said privately to his father, "Dad, you don't need to beg for anything anymore. The other day, Uncle Ba promised me all my debt." Uncle Ba's family scolded, "Children talk nonsense. Who would give it to you for free? Where is the evidence?" "If I have proof, I'll say it." "So where's the evidence?" "I will give it in front of Uncle Ba." After arguing for a while, the debt collector got angry and said, "Well, I don't want to talk to children. As for you, please pay it forward, otherwise I will invite you back to the Mandarin." Having said that, he struggled to leave. When the debt collector left the house, the father returned and asked his son, "Tell me what the evidence is." "Don't be foolish to play with fire, my child." The baby then told the story from the other day and said, "Don't worry about paying the debt anymore, just leave me alone." Finally, the creditor also forces the debtor to sue. When we got to the public hall, I heard the Mandarin banging on the table and scolding the defendant. "You guy, you squandered Uncle Ba's debt, right?" Following his son's instructions, the defendant replied, "Your Excellency, Mr. Ba promised to give my son that debt, but I did not dare to betray him." Uncle Ba said, "Don't lie. When did I promise my child? What is the evidence like? Please allow the boy to come up and ask." The mandarin immediately sent soldiers to bring the baby. In front of everyone, the child told the story from the beginning to the end of how he talked to Uncle Ba the other day, what Uncle Ba promised, etc. After listening, the mandarin asked, "So at that time, was there anyone who could testify to the story? Uncle Ba's words promised to you or not?" "Your Majesty, there is someone who can testify." At that moment, Mr. Ba pointed at the termite climbing the pillar and told him to testify. "That's why I solved the riddle for him." Hearing that, Mr. Ba quickly interrupted, "Termites are cowpeas, but there are no termites climbing house poles." The mandarin immediately said, "So when you promised him, there was indeed a termite witness, that's enough. So you must do as you promised." Uncle Ba stiffened and walked out. And the father and son of that family went home happy because of victory. 1. Horror. The above story has a strange story. Vu Kong Du's story. When Vu Kong Du was young, his parents were very poor. One day the whole family was away and he was alone. A creditor came to collect his debt and asked where his parents were going. Answer: "My father goes to kill people, my mother goes to save people." The creditor asked, but he did not answer. Afterwards, he persuaded him to tell the truth and his debt would be forgiven. He held out a lump of clay and told the creditor to print his hand as a pledge. Then he told him, "My father went to work to uproot rice seedlings, not to kill people. My mother to plant, not to save people." Another day the creditor came again and demanded that he give him a piece of land with his hand printed on it, making him speechless, too. The above motif is also very popular in many countries around the world. Here are some stories. Picardy French story. A lord sent his servants to collect debts. Coming to a house where there was only one child keeping the house. The debt collector asked, "Where is your father?" Answer: "My father goes hunting. What he kills he leaves behind, what he doesn't kill he brings back." The other person could not understand, but could not pry the baby's mouth open, so he had to go back and report to God. God sent another person to tell him to forgive all the debts of the baby's family if he could answer that question. The baby said, "My dad hunts lice." The above story is also popular in southern Europe such as Italy, Switzerland, Suisse, and Tyrols, etc. Another book, King Solomon and Macon, is popular in many European countries, although each region recounts a few details differently. King Solomon went hunting and stayed at Macon's house. "Come here, and ask this guy some questions." He answered in a riddle that surprised the king. The king asked in turn, "Where is your father? Where is your mother? Where is your brother?" etc. Answer: "My father was in the field, he did 2 damage." The king couldn't understand, so he asked him to explain. He said, his father was in the field and wanted to build a road across the field, so he planted thorns in the road, and as a result, people went out on both sides, making 2 more paths, unable to grow crops. Regarding his mother, Mark replied, "My mother came to do for her neighbor what she could not do for herself, that is, to close her dead neighbor's eyes, which no one does for themselves." Ours. 3. About you. Marco replied, almost similar to the sentence in the story above. "My brother sits outside the house, killing everyone he meets, i.e. catching lice." About the story of King Solomon and Macon, see more in Strange Tales No. 84. An Indian story. Mahansada was looking for a future wife. On the way he met a beautiful girl of a higher class and seemingly modest. Through the story, he knew her name was Visakha. Trying to see if she was smart, he asked, "Where is your father going?" She replied, "My father went to make one road into two roads," similar to the story above, meaning he went to look for branches and thorns to cover the road. But because of that, there were two roads. 4. Arabia's story, Arabi. A man planned to marry the girl who could answer his riddle. 8. 4. 2. He asked many people. Everyone answered. 14. One day, walking at night, he met a person carrying a girl as beautiful as the full moon. He asked that question. She answered, 8 are female breasts, 4 are female camel breasts, 2 are female breasts. He then asked her to be his wife. On the wedding day, the husband's family asked her, "Where is your father?" Answered, "My father works near what is far away and far away what is near." Again asked, "Where is your mother?" "My mother cut a soul into two." Again asked, "Where is my biological brother?" "My brother holds the sun." When the family came back to report, the bridegroom guessed that it was her father. She had fraternized with one tribe against another tribe. Her mother was out delivering a baby to a woman. Her brother was out tending cattle and was waiting for the sun to set to return, etc. 5. The Moroccan story is similar to the above. My mother makes a soul come out of the soul, delivering a baby, and my brother has to bring the person who will not return again. Leads the dead to the grave. Story from Bangladesh. Bangladesh. My mother worked as two people from one person, midwifery. Kabyle story. My mother went to see someone she had never seen before, a new baby. Indian story in Banu, Bano. My father went to separate land from land, digging graves to bury ghosts. Indian story from Kashmir. My mother sells words, matchmaker. 6. Etc. 1. According to Nguyen Van Nok. Book cited. 2. According to Young Talent of the South. 3. Another version says, regarding his mother, Mark replied, "My mother cooked a pot of cakes and ate them all," meaning that before she borrowed cakes to eat and ate them all, now she cooked another pot to eat. Pay. 4. Another version says as follows, Mahansa Da asked his future wife, "What does your father do?" "My father makes one into two, he plows, right?" "Yes, where does he plow?" "In a place where whoever goes there never returns, at the cemetery, right?" Quote. Yes. 5. According to Bassett, Volume 2, book cited. 6. All according to Kazkan, Kasqueen. Book cited. Thank you for joining us for today's fairy tale. We hope these stories bring joy and meaning to your day. If you love our channel, please hit the subscribe button so you won't miss any exciting tales. Wishing you a good night and sweet dreams. See you in the next story.